Okay. Yeah. So I get giddy and excited because I'll take my son. He has been giving, I think, my family, everybody a run for his money, like their money, with how absolutely stubborn he is. And when I mean, really, like, no, or like he comes home, I don't feel like doing this. And then I got his design. And so without getting into all of this stuff, if you have something colored in, you'll see a bunch of shapes when you get your human design. But when you get that, where you're colored in, so to speak, it's almost like you have a sense of self. You don't need to really go on the outside to kind of like learn anything. You have your sense of self. My son, minus one energy center, is completely filled up. So no, he really doesn't need to look for the answers from everybody else because he has this sense of self.
Hi, it's Tiffany Lorraine Galloway, certified high performance coach with another episode of the Resilient Mother podcast. We're going to be talking about a very important subject this month about resilient identity. As we go through the journey of resilience, of discovering ourselves and who we are, at some point you're going to run across identity. It's a really central part of our lives and who we are and how we run them, and how resilient we are or not is dependent on how in tune we are with who we are, what is for us and what's not for us. And so today with me, I have Sasha, who's going to talk on the subject from an intuitive design coaching perspective. Sasha, thank you for being here. Please tell me more about you.
My name is Sasha Greenidge. I'm an intuitive mindset coach. And I use human design and the gene keys to actually help women identify exactly who they are. I've been in education for 20 years, and I do have a BA in psychology. So I am all about the mind, all about what makes us tick, and just love diving deeper into how that is.
What started your interest in that field and in that area?
So everything with me is trial and error and roundabout, and I fall into things. While working in education, I decided to dabble in like a multi-level marketing business. Spoiler, it failed. But in the meantime, I was so determined to be successful because I'm not a quitter. I hired a business coach. And then long story short, the way she is, which is perfect for my design, is we just keep doing new things. And we came into learning tools from Bob Proctor, who passed away a couple of years ago. That was one of her mentors. So we got all of the goodness from him. And then she started to teach us about gene keys from Richard Rudd and human design from Ra Ruhu. And that was what was like, boom. Before that, she did start her own coach school. I got certified in that, and I'm currently getting certified in human design through her program, and learning how to use it in my business and using it with my clients. So roundabout way, always meant to be where you are.
It's wonderful that you've had such great mentors. I think we've had maybe one other person on here too. This is becoming a new popular area. If someone hasn't heard of this before, how would you explain those two things that you're talking about? Human design, gene keys.
Yeah. So the first thing I know a lot of people think about is like, what's this woo-woo thing that I'm not all about the woo and where this is coming from. So the best way I could describe it is it's derived from the I Ching, quantum physics. These are things that we can understand. We like to say that we can understand the law of attraction. That seems safe and okay. It's like that, but there's a lot of science-based evidence behind it. I don't go too far in the depths, but it's just the science behind what it is, who you are, based on astrology, the I Ching, some quantum physics, all of that pooled in together. And so I like to tell people I have my Nespresso machine. I don't know how it works. It makes the perfect cup of coffee, and I don't ask any questions past that. But going forward, and getting the design, it is unique to you. And that is the part that I do love. I get fired up about, because it just takes the guesswork out of everything, your business, personally, everything. And that was just the quantum leap for me. And my family, my kids are benefiting by leaps and bounds as I changed as a mother, and that patience piece with that.
If I was your client, where would you start with me? If I've never done any of this before.
None of this. So we do start with, where are you at right now? What are you struggling with? It's just like anything in any typical life coaching. The difference is in the past, I would have to ask a lot of questions, use a lot of my intuition, and just much like, almost like a therapist would be, to ask these really great questions to bring out, oh, this is triggering for me, that is triggering for me. I still want clients to bring that out themselves, but I'm staring at your design. I know exactly where it's coming from. I can look at your public role. I can look at your life's work and evolution, and I know exactly where the problem is. Your problem is. And depending on the situation, as they're talking and things like that, then I can zero in and I can ask a very direct question of, do you find that you're struggling, or you feel like you're spinning it, and just kind of say, this is why. And people are like, are you kidding me? How did you, like, how do you know that?
I love that.
What people don't identify, though, is the gift. So we all have what Richard calls the shadow, but there's a gift there. We have to learn from those shadows, but we don't know what that gift is. What's the next step? Because we stay stuck in victimhood. So I like to say now that these tools are almost like, if I'm like a surgeon, I have my scalpel now. This is how I can completely go in, cut through a lot of weeks of things, and still take the traditional route. But the clients are now learning about themselves, because I'm not about, I'm the guru. I know all of this stuff about human design. And if anybody kind of is like that, run. Because they both, Ra Aruhu and Richard Rudd, want you to learn about yourself. So I'm only here as a guide. You have to learn that. There's experiences that I don't know that you've had. We'll talk about them, and I can guide you through them and point out where this comes out. But then there's this study of you and what your true identity is. But the magical part is finally seeing the lights go on. That I loved seeing my own lights go on, of like, whoa, that's where I'm meant to be. I'm like, really? Like, because there's a whole nother side of us and a whole nother unconscious part of us that we don't see. We haven't allowed ourselves to see.
As unique as our fingerprints. So it makes sense that there should be some pattern. Fingerprints, we know what they all look like, but they are all different.
Yes.
So there has to be clues there that for us to figure out who we are. But I also like the idea of this applying to our children. I can see where that could be very helpful. Can you talk about that a little bit? As a mother, understanding how to unlock their full potential is what we all desire.
Okay. Yeah. So I get giddy and excited, because I'll take my son. He has been giving, I think, my family, everybody, a run for his money, like their money, with how absolutely stubborn he is. And when I mean, really, like, no, or like, he comes home, I don't feel like doing this. And then I got his design. And so without getting into all of this stuff, if you have something colored in, you'll see a bunch of shapes when you get your human design. But when you get that, where you're colored in, so to speak, it's almost like you have a sense of self. You don't need to really go on the outside to kind of like learn anything. You have your sense of self. My son, minus one energy center, is completely filled up. So No, he really doesn't need to look for the answers from everybody else because he has this sense of self. But having that energy center open, he is very drained by people. So imagine we've all done it. We've gone to school for 6 hours a day. For somebody like him, in human design, they call it a projector, and business human design, they call it an advisor. He doesn't have the energy for people past a certain point. So to expect, oh, get that homework done, go do this. And people are like, why aren't you making him do his homework? He doesn't have the energy. And so it's learning to kind of respect that, or kind of saying he is advocating for himself, and everything within reason, obviously, where he loves YouTube. I'm not going to let him, go on there for hours. But after school, he's doing that right now. He's just zoning out, and it's respecting that energy. And then all of a sudden I'll see him just pick up, get a notebook, and just start working instead of having these epic battles with some of them. Some of you might be an advisor, and you might be like, oh, I don't really have the energy for a kid that's a manifesting generator that's like, go, 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 go. And that's what I am. And when I kind of realized that it's not in his capacity, among a whole other stubbornness, where that comes from, where what I call stubborn, it's really his strengths and his inner sense of self. It's actually now teaching him to, like just honoring that and just saying he has his own sense of self. He knows that's not right for him. Or I try, and we can actually just have a conversation and say, buddy, I know that like this is something that you don't want to, really do right now, but it's something that we have to kind of do. When's a better time to do this? And I know a lot of people are like, no, we got to do this now, but I'd rather him do it right and in his time and how he wants to do it, than because it is a battle. He can be a wall, and then we get nothing done. I mean, I was up
fascinating
a long time with him one time. Yeah.
So much understanding, because I am glad someone told me that all my kids would be different, completely different, or I think I was doing something wrong, right? I mean, there's general principles that are the same for kids and safety and guidelines, but then they're a unique individual. And they may not be like you. And some kids are similar to you, and that works two ways. Like that can be a good thing and a hard thing too, because if they reflect something in you, that often comes up, right? And then it's not about them, it's about you, right? And you're like, no, don't take that trait from me, or yes, do take that trait from me, or whatnot. But when they're completely different, in a sense, like you're talking about, where maybe it's two different kinds that have to be considerate of how each other works. It's great to have a tool there to recognize it and not go, I'm doing something wrong as a parent, that I'm not getting this result. It's more about changing the communication, the motive, the understanding, the influence, and the persuasion around that relationship and the desired results. And just realizing every kid's going to be different, and how they approach things and how they approach life. What is going to lead them to success? What is going to lead them in the right direction for their full potential? Not my idea of what that is, not what I expected out of motherhood or out of them, but what is true for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was the best thing. I've always had the empathy for him, but now understanding exactly why. And it's like I've almost become that mama bear of leave him alone. Like leave him alone about this. And what you'll actually end up finding is you respected them, and whether you agree or disagree, now he comes to me. He feels the most comfortable coming to me and telling me anything. And we just talk about and again, whether I agree or disagree, this is his design. And when you start to learn these things, you're like, oh my gosh, that makes complete sense. When I saw his, it's like, oh, yep, he's pretty much like that head center and conceptualization. Like that means you have your own mind. you have your own mind, and then even going deeper into things, like it's like, whew. So you just learn to respect your kids, respect your spouse, there's a lot of even further modalities where you can go in and find out if you're compromising somebody else. That's huge in marriage. If your life's work compromises your husband's something else that's a really important thing, you've got a problem, or it's something to look out for and say, oh, this is why, I keep bumping up against him. This is his life's work, or this is my life's work. And they just keep, rubbing that the wrong way. And now you know why. And in both cases, if you're both in the work, you kind of could be more sensitive. And even if they're not, because there's so many men, or one spouse is in it, another one isn't, you learn that empathy. And when you just work on yourself, the results changes everything without expecting anybody else to change. And that's like the ultimate boundary.
That sounds so empowering in family relationships. My son is completely out of control behind me, so I'm going to pause for just a second and get him happy somewhere else. So I'm just curious, you have 2 children, so one is the strongest example, but how does that work with the other one? And does that also affect their relationship with each other? And do you help them work through that?
Yeah, so they're 5 years apart. So I tell people, it feels like I have 2 only children, because she's 16 and he's 11. And so she's been so used to having her own time with like her grandparents, like everybody. And then there's him, and he's the baby, and I do baby him. And so it's a different perspective. She is very, 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 very logical. Very logical. And she has a streak of stubbornness herself, but I have to respect her logic, and really learning that that's how she thinks. So with her, like, I don't really, she doesn't really know I'm parenting her like this, because she, I have to kind of explain this. There's a science behind this, and she can get that, and things like that. But I just kind of look at her design, and I kind of go from there, and respecting a lot of her core values and where she stands. We do share a same public role, which I can understand completely. It's one of the pieces that makes up like 70% of who you are. So there's this intellect to learn, to go to the depths of things and want to know why, like, so I can go there with her on certain things. And what I'm helping, where it was hard for me, that in your public role, you have 2 numbers, which is a 1 and I have a 1 and a 3. Everybody else has, different things. She has that same profile as me. So that 1 she gets going into the depths of things. And where I only up until recently, that line 3 is like that entrepreneurial way, that failing forward, that adventure, that, bonds made, bonds broken. And she hasn't really unlocked that yet. Like, there's pieces of it. And it's a beautiful part. When you finally unlock that piece, it's like, whoa, that's why there's like that spark of adventure there that I've always had. But like, that line 1, safety first, doesn't want to dig deep in. And so knowing that she has that, and just kind of like, getting her out of her comfort zone and saying, what would you like to do? Like, what gets you out of, so she loves hiking. She loves, doing like all of these different things that we're just trying to honor both pieces of her and who she is, who she's meant to be. And so it's really helpful to bring out things in people, to kind of show them like, wow, this is why certain things happen, but unconsciously look at all this other stuff that, like, we're all capable of, or, that, if we step into this potential, what we can be, like who we really truly can be. And then we stop really looking for that validation outside. I mean, I was guilty as heck, just kind of, my whole life. Like, what was this standard of beauty? What was this standard of wealth? For a really long time.
Because the world changes trend. It's a trend. What's true, what's not true, what's beauty, what's not beauty. I mean, trying to keep up with that is impossible. I think it's a real superpower to have something internal, to have that power from within that, no, I decide who I am. I decide what beauty is for me. I decide what's right for my family. And if this is a tool that helps unlock that, that's really necessary today, because we're really fighting for our health and our minds in a world that's moving fast, and there's a lot of information that has to be processed and sorted, and you're going to have to trust your gut on what's right for you and what's not right for you, and in some cases, what is the truth, what is not the truth. And so that's a great gift that you're able to have and to give to your kids, to be that comfortable with who they are and their identity.
Right. And they don't, thank God, like at an early age now, they're able to, you're just looking inside yourself. And so, like, obviously they're not reading their designs now, but looking at that, we don't have to go into the depths like I do, but like you'd say, oh, this is a strength of this. Let me help, kind of cultivate that, and really just kind of be understanding of that, their shadows, their gifts, so when they are in, this lower self, like how can, and where the possibility of where they could be, they don't have to look out for what it is that they want. And, for us as moms, it's the most beautiful thing now to be like, oh my gosh, this person, is doing this YouTube show, and that's fantastic, instead of being like, oh my God, she's doing that, and that's working for her, and that must work, and that's really interesting. Maybe I should do that. There's so many things now. I'm just like, that's awesome. I would, I'd love to help with that, be a part of that, maybe, or cheer somebody on, because I know that's not my path. And I don't,
I love that for you.
I'm admiring now.
I love that for you. That's good too. And I think that really helps too in a culture that wants you to do a lot and give a lot, or a woman who wants to please everyone or do everything, to just go, this is the path I'm on, and I want to help you, but in this capacity. This is the extent of which I could do something or not do something, or that just isn't in alignment with where I'm at. And knowing that, that also gives permission for the other person to realize there's somebody else who is a better fit for what they're asking for. And I think that's really important to navigate, so that you don't say yes to too many things, because you're always going to have a cost for what you say yes to. And when you're in tune enough with your own identity and who you are and where you're going, it's easier to go, what's meant to be for me and what projects are meant for me is a lot clearer. And I think it's faster to make decisions. And I think
some of us aren't meant to.
Yeah. But I think those that do entrepreneurs, you have to be able to make quick decisions and make solid decisions. And so that's important as a person that owns your own business, runs your own business, or is in charge of anything, making decisions, let alone being mom and running a whole household and raising the next generation. That's got to be super helpful.
Yes. So, and it's, it's really honoring that, is that yes, I have this 1-3 profile. Some people have the 2-4. That 2 wants to hermit. They're naturally good at things. I'm not. I can't pick up this oil bottle and be like, hey, can you, this is amazing, whatever. Some people have that, and it's literally in their design. It's called a natural influencer if you have a 2-4 together. And that 4 likes to be around people, and they're really great about being around people. But that 2 part of them likes to hermit. So he also, his Gabriel, my son, he has a 6 too. So that 2 part of him wants to hermit away. When he's had enough of people, I honor that. They're, oh, he's being so, I'm like, no, it's probably that time, ding, I'm done talking to people. He loves his friends, but he'll ride his little bike home. And when he's done with them, he's like, okay, guys, I'm going home. And he goes home and he sits and he kind of zones out on his own. And the same could be done for certain adults. We don't want to hermit in one place too long. We don't want to be so much around people and then not go back. But that's the depths of where you can go. And there's so many, others, like a natural leader, like teacher, like all of these things, but to know which one you are, and to be able to know like the highs and lows of all of them, and you being able to respect yourself and then being able to convey that to others. It's just, like me, the whole entrepreneurship drives my husband crazy. It just drives him crazy. Like, you're not doing this right away. I'm meant to fail forward.
Yeah.
I just am. And it took me a really hard time to kind of get through that, but knowing that's my design, but always at the end of all of it, there's like amazing things that come out of it. But he's like, oh, you should give up by now and whatever. Absolutely not. Like, and so many people along the way.
Because then you can work that out, right? Between the two of you, because you just know, I'm just different.
Absolutely.
This is not wrong. This is right for me. And this is where you can help me and where you can't, or this is how can you support in a way that's comfortable for your design and what's comfortable for you. And that's got the power to like take it way less personally and just understand it's a point of view. It's a personality. Absolutely. It's which is so freeing, because we often will take what happens with our family members and the dynamic, or if there's an argument personally, like, what did I do? Or was I wrong? Or was I right? And then it doesn't have to be about who's right or who's wrong. It's about, this is me giving space for you, and I honor you and you honor me. And we figure out a way that works for both of us, because we love each other and because we are a family, and we need that so much more today. So many families are not together because they haven't learned a way to work it out. In some cases, I mean, abuse is abuse. Yes, that's a reason that it should end. But in some cases, like, we don't know how to fix things. Like, it's easier to go, oh, there's another option over there, or to not look into deeper tools or strategies or ideas and still think you're going to figure it out on your own. So this podcast is supposed to be empowering in that way for mothers, especially, to go, there are tools, there are strategies, there are coaches, there are counseling options, there are programs, there are mommy groups, there is a way to develop into the mom you want to be and show up for the kids in your life the way that you want to show up. And it probably will improve everyone, but just start here. It starts with the work that we do with ourselves. If you hadn't come into this, you wouldn't be able to apply it into your kids or into your relationship with your husband, or even into the work that you do, right? And knowing what's right for you and not right for you. And as moms, we think we lose our identity in being moms. So it's important that we still develop ourselves and we still have things, and we need to be that example to our kids and to our daughter that, yes, mom is a role and I honor it and it's important, but we have these other things, especially for those that really suffer from like empty nest. They poured into the kids and then they're confused who they are, or a relationship that stayed together for the kids go, and then who are we? So it's important for healthy relationships to develop, to evolve, to go deeper and to find the tools, strategies that will allow you to do that. And it sounds like that's what the work is that you're doing with this tool and the strategy in place.
Yeah, I was just impressed how it was like, this is me. There's nothing around anything. All of my strengths, what I have, what I'm here to kind of learn, I don't have to go seeking that anymore. And I thought that was like just a light bulb, like even in the frustrations of business or, even with kids, this is me. I now can always go back and study myself, the same things over and over and over again, and just know how I'm meant to deal with this. This is my path and this is who you are. It takes the guessing game out of everything.
Yeah.
Now it's really your job to kind of walk that, because this is just your potential. Your body graph, your gene keys profile, like they're one and the same or similar, but they're you. And it's not what somebody perceives of you. It's not anything like that. It's the study of you. It's taking your experiences, applying them to your profile and saying, oh, I see how this comes up here. Oh, I can completely see where this might have come up in, or this is what my emotional intelligence, the depths that you can go. I start off though, when I work with people, very, very slow. And kind of start where they're kind of struggling. A lot of moms, though, they're just spinning and they don't know what direction to go. And There, it kind of gives that clarity. Because I didn't know who I was outside of being what everybody else wanted me to be, and a mom. I was sure about that and how I wanted to raise these kids, but that's just not me. I'm Sasha with a whole lot of like talents I'm having a blast uncovering. So I love that for other people too. That's what I really want to bring out.
Well, if you'd like to unlock your resilient identity with Sasha, where can they find you?
They can find me at sashagrenidge.com. That's where you can sign up for a free consultation where if you're, feeling stuck or you've been trial and erroring through your life yourself, it's a free consult. And when you do that, I will give you your free Gene Keys profile and share some tidbits ahead of the call. And then this is something that you've never, ever gone through before, the depths that we go through in this call. And a lot of women leave like, nobody's asked me that before. I've never really felt that way before. I've never shared this before. And so it was an absolute breakthrough, whether they work with me or not. I always get like that email back. Like I'm just so happy because I have a new sense of where I need to be. And that like in itself is absolutely gorgeous. So I love that.
I love that with the work as a coach and as someone who's moving people forward. We want them to reach their full potential. And this sounds like a great way to unlock it and kind of have a roadmap as you navigate through it. And then have that intuition that you need, which is something we'll get into in future episodes here soon. So thank you for being here, listeners. I hope you found some value in this conversation. If you want to comment, like, share, let's keep talking. We want to build this audience and these episodes so that everyone can find something they need to be the resilient mother that you always wanted to be. Thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe so we can share this message. We are a worldwide podcast with guests all around the world, and we want to continue to grow this community. You can find us on socials. You could also be a guest. Look for that link below if you'd be interested in being a guest on the podcast. If you know a sponsor or would like to be a sponsor, please reach out to me or Catherine as well.
Sure. We want you all on this journey. We want to hear your stories. We want to share your stories. We want to gain strength from each other because together we're stronger. And to never forget the blessing of being a mother and what we're creating. We're creating the future every single day of our lives. So get on this train with us and let's do this thing, moms.
I believe in you. Believe in yourself. God bless. And we'll see you around. Take care.